It is day 5 of Vlogmas, and I think it is about time we did a Christmas themed book tag. Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is, as I said, day number 5 of Vlogmas. I am going to be posting a video every day up to and including Christmas Day. It's going to be a mixture of bookish things and theatrical things. Today we are going for a classic book tag. This is the Christmas song book tag, which I believe was originally created by Hayley from Hayley in Bookland, and I will leave her original video linked down below. I actually did this one last year as well, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I gave myself the rule then that I could only use books that I read within the last year, so that worked out quite well for me because it means that I can kind of redo it every year with books that I've read this year as well. So that is a plan. There's not too much else to explain. You guys know what a tag video is. I'm just going to go through the prompts and tell you what my answers are using books that I've read in 2022. Obviously all of the prompts in this one are based around Christmas songs, which is one of my favourite parts of Christmas. I have literally just been blasting Christmas music while getting ready to film the videos that I need to film today because I wanted to get in the festive spirit. So of course I was going to do a Christmas song book tag. Right, let's just get on with the prompts. So prompt number 1 is "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch," and it is to name a villainous character that you couldn't help but love. I actually struggled with this one. Like the first question I was like, oh, I'm gonna find this a little bit hard. I think last year I said Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I could have just like copped out and gone for the sequel, but I decided not to. I wanted to do something different. But it is a little bit of a cop-out because it is definitely a character that I already know, and I don't know if love is the right word, but I'm intrigued by, and I keep reading stuff about them. So also, like, in a certain adaptation, I do love them because I love the actor that's playing them. Let's just show you what the book is, shall we? So it is Demon in the Wood by Lee Bardugo and Danny Pendergast. This is a graphic novel that is about the Darkling from the Shadow and Bone series from the Grishaverse. And yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I love them. Like, I do not agree with the majority of things that the Darkling does, but I find them a very interesting character to read about, and yes, in the TV adaptation Ben Barnes is fantastic, so I may love him a little bit more in that than I do in the books. But I actually found this a really interesting read this year, to read a little bit more about the origins of the Darkling and like him starting on the steps towards becoming the sort of villainous character that we know in the later books. In the later books, or should I say earlier books, because this was published after, but you know what I mean, later in the timeline. Question number 2 is All I Want for Christmas Is You, and it is which book are you hoping to find underneath your Christmas tree? Now I'm going to have the same answer as last year, I know this. I don't really know because I don't tend to ask for books for Christmas. My parents used to buy me books for Christmas, but then it got to the point where I was sort of like saving books that I wasn't that interested in to put on my wish list, because the ones that I was really interested in I was buying like as soon as it came out. So rather than buying ones that I'm going to end up putting on my shelves and not actually be that likely to read, they started like just giving me vouchers for books and then saying go and get what you actually want to get. And or sometimes they'll like pay for a special edition set that I've ordered from like Illumicrate or Fairy Loot or somewhere like that, but I don't even think there's one of those this year that I've asked them to pay for. Like the only book I can think of that I actually want to get at this moment of filming this, I think I'm actually going to order it this weekend because I'm filming this when like the Black Friday offer is on from Waterstones, and they got me a voucher for my birthday a couple of weeks ago. And there's a book that's all about like the making of Moulin Rouge the musical, and because it's like a photo full colour book, it's a little bit more expensive than a regular sort of novel, so I may end up using that voucher to get that. But like that's the only thing I can really think of at the minute that I really want to get my hands on. So yeah, I don't really have an answer for this. I mean, I could say that some of these like special editions that have been ordered from Fairy Loot that just seem to be getting pushed further and further back, I would like them to arrive before Christmas because I keep forgetting what I've actually ordered and what I haven't. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Question number 3 is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Name a character that overcomes major obstacles and learns to believe in themselves. Now for this one, I'm going to go with The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I don't have this one to hold up because I am waiting to order the special edition from Fairy Loot when it goes on sale in December. I got an arc of this one and I really enjoyed this book. But it's an adult romance about a woman who works as a ghostwriter for a romance novelist, but she starts to kind of not believe in what she's writing because she's gone through a bad breakup, and goes to a new editor's like, actually this book isn't getting done. They have a bit of a disagreement, and then the next morning she has to go out of town very quickly because of some family issues that are happening, and she ends up opening the door at her family house and finding her editor on her doorstep as a ghost. And things kind of go from there. And I, like I said, really enjoyed this book, and the main character, whose name has completely gone from my head, goes through a lot of stuff. Like, obviously she's got the issues with like the writer's block stemming from the bad breakup before, and that relationship sounds awful. Like, she went through a fair amount there as well. And then there is all of this family stuff that is happening too, because the reason why she has to go home is because of a fairly significant event within her family. And yeah, there's just a lot to unpack, but obviously it is a romance. It does have a happier, more optimistic ending to it than how it starts. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much into details, because I think it's one where it's good if you just kind of go along for the ride and see how we get to where we get to, because obviously it sounds a bit strange when you say it's a romance and there's a ghost involved, but I really enjoyed this, and yeah, I think it works for this prompt. Question number 4 is Santa Claus is coming to town, and there are actually 2 questions for this one. So the first one is, what character do you think would be at the top of the naughty list? Now for this one, I'm gonna go with an arc that doesn't actually come out till next year, but this character just like screams naughty list because she is not a great person. It is June from Yellowface. Yellowface is a new book by R.F. Kuang. It's about a woman who ends up stealing the manuscript of a friend when she dies in a tragic accident, and ends up publishing it under her own name because basically they were both authors, and the one that dies was a lot more successful, and the main character kind of sees it as an opportunity to, I mean, she convinces herself it's like an opportunity to make sure that the work gets out there and is appreciated and all of this. And she also convinces herself it's as much her work as it is Athena, the original author's work, because she helps to like finish off the manuscript after, which, you know, is a thing that actually happens, but generally people are aware of that when it happens. Like when you read like A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, it says based on an original idea by someone else because he picked up the idea when that author passed away. But no, this is not done in that way. This is done very much in a hiding it and using it for your own gain. And also then there is the issue of June, the main character, being a white woman, and Athena, the woman who died, was Chinese American. And basically there is a whole story about whose right it is to tell different stories and things like that. And I really enjoyed this book, and I do recommend you all read it. But yeah, June does some very bad things, and she's not a likable main character at all, and she deserves to be on that naughty list. So obviously we've had the naughty list, so the second part of this question is a character who deserves to be on the top of the nice list. And basically I'm just going to pick a character who is just a sweetheart, like he does do some things that get him in trouble towards the beginning of the book. That is a whole setup for the book, but his heart is so in the right place. He just wants to protect his friends and family and everyone that he loves, and that is Alex from All the Fields. So this is the second book in this companion series. I don't know if the series actually has a name, but the first one is spoiler alert, then we got this one, and then we have Shipwrecked, which has just come out. It's following the lives of actors on this TV show, which is very obviously Game of Thrones. And in this one, the main character basically gets in a little bit of trouble with his image. He ends up in a bar fight. He was actually defending somebody, but obviously it doesn't look great in the press, so he gets given like a minder to make sure he doesn't get into any more trouble, and then things go from there. It's a romance. Obviously he ends up falling in love with the person that is there to kind of stop him from getting in trouble. And yeah, Alex is just a sweetheart character. Like, he is so lovely. He will do anything to kind of protect the people that he loves, and yeah, I think he deserves to be on the nice list, so I'm gonna put him there. Question number 5 is Frosty the Snowman, and it is a book that just melts your heart, and I know some friends are going to be happy to see this one on here because this was just adorable, and I was just like there to see this relationship develop from being like very much on the brink of ending to being like this really stable, solid thing, and I really loved it. And it is You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. This is a story of an engaged couple who are basically, like I said, towards the end of their relationship, it feels like anyway, they've just really like lost the ability to actually communicate with each other, and it seems like neither of them particularly wants to be in this relationship anymore, but they know that if they're the one that ends the relationship, they're in line to pay for all of the wedding things that have already been booked. So they kind of start a game of one-upmanship of trying to like annoy the other one into breaking up with them, but that's just the start of it, because from there we start to see them actually like come back together. And I said to Meg, because she recommended this book to me, I said to her when I started reading it, I was like, I honestly do not see how they're going to end up together at the end of it, because this really feels like a relationship that is completely done. But the way that like the reintroduction of the like communication in this relationship is done, like it's so like it's done it's done so subtly that you are like very much believing it like all the way through. It's not like a sudden change, it's like you can see those steps that are taken, and I really loved it, and I'm looking forward to reading more from this author. So yeah, this one definitely melted my heart just a little bit. Feliz Navidad is a book that takes place in a country that is not your own. Now there are like plenty of these, like I read a lot of books that are set in America. I think quite a few of the books that I've already talked about are set in America, and obviously I read a lot of fantasy books as well that are set in different places, but I didn't just want to go for the obvious of this is either set in the US or set in somewhere that is definitely not my country, because it's a country that doesn't exist. I mean, I kind of have, because this is set in like a fantasy world, but it is very much based on a particular area of the world. I'm going to go with Jade City for this. This is actually the first book that I read at the start of the year, and I really love this series. I think the first two I gave 4 stars, and then the last one I gave 5 stars. Like, it just got better and better as it went along. This is set on the island of Kekom, and particularly in the city of Janloon, but it is very much based on Asian culture. If you were to put it on a map, you would be putting it somewhere near China, basically. And yeah, just a series that I haven't spoke about for a while, because I read it so much earlier on this year and I wanted to get it in there somewhere, because like I said, really enjoyed the series. It was a very good start to my reading year. Question number 7 is, it's the most wonderful time of the year. What book do you use to spread Christmas joy? Now, I haven't got like a particularly favourite Christmas book that I'm going to recommend on here. I'm going to instead say one that I'm looking forward to reading, and we're going back to an author that I've already talked about. I did say I had 2 more books of hers to read, and that is Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle. This, I believe, is her newest book. It is a Christmas romance. I don't know too much about it. It's got like a magical hint to it. I'm excited to read it. It will be getting put onto my TBR in December. I'm not going to read you the synopsis of it because I don't want to know too much going into it. I am just along for the ride. But this is a book that I hope brings me Christmas joy this year. So yeah. Question number 8 is Sleigh Ride, and it is, which fictional character would you choose to spend the holidays with? It doesn't have to be a love interest. I have chosen a group of characters because this is a group of because this is a friendship group that I just really liked this year, and I would like to spend the holidays with them. I think they would all be very fun. And that is a group from Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and also Seeing As Though It Arrived just before I started filming this video, Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. This is the first book in the series is the one that I've read. It's about a woman called Delilah who goes back home for the first time in years for her stepsister's wedding. She doesn't get on with the stepsister. She ends up starting a bit of a romance with her stepsister's best friend during the wedding weekend, and it's just kind of about that, like her coming back to town, seeing this family again, like coming up against sort of expectations that may be had of her in this town. And they're like 4 main characters in the sort of friendship group that forms in this first book. So you've got Delilah and Claire. You then have got Astrid, and I mean, I'm assuming her love interest is going to become a bigger part of that group in the second one as well, but I haven't read it yet. And then you have Iris as well, who is the other friend who I believe is going to be the protagonist of a 3rd book in this series as well. And I just found them all really fun. Like they all seem like this seemed like a group of people that I would like to hang around with. So yeah, why not? Question number 9 is Baby It's Cold Outside, and it is, which book that you didn't like would you sacrifice to a fire to keep yourself warm? I'm just going to be very quick about this one. It's got a lot of pages, so you know it'll last a while. And question number 10 is, do you hear what I hear? And it is, which book do you think everyone should read? Now, I don't actually think everyone should read this because I don't think everyone's going to like it, but I had to mention it at some point. It's a book I will tell everyone how much I loved, and then let them make their own, and then let them make their mind up of whether they want to read it. Babel by Ralph Kwang. I think I'm gonna try and mention this in every single book video that I do in the month of December, to the point when I do my top 10 books of the year on Christmas Day. I'm sure you're all going to be very shocked when this is on there, right? Anyway, Babel by Ralph Kwang. If you can tell by the tabs, I really liked this book. I mean, look at it. I'm not gonna give you a synopsis. You don't need a synopsis at this point. Just read it if you're so inclined. Okay, so that is all of the questions in the Christmas song tag. I should really be tagging people, but I don't know who's done this. I know that Lisa's already planning on doing it. I think she may have tagged me this year. So thank you, Lisa, if you did. I think she's probably also tagged like the rest of like a general friend group. So I'm just gonna say, anyone that wants to do it, consider yourself tagged. Enjoy. But that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video. Bye.